So we arrived at the Broadford State Motorcycle Complex for the launch of the 2023 Sherco range. They had everything there from the 125cc 2-stroke right through to the 500cc 4-stroke. My mission was to ride the standard Sherco range bikes, then the factory Sherco range bikes, and run through the details with the riders of the changes that they make and why they make them. Then maybe give you a rider's perspective on how I thought the changes affected the performance of the bike. There were a couple of modifications that the guys made, one in particular that caught my attention that is not something I thought would be in your top 2 picks of modifications to make for a dirt scooter. Anyway, stick with me, I'm going to ride through all the bikes and probably even chuck a leg over the big old 500 because I ride one of them with the tours and I'm pretty interested to see how the old Sherco performs, so they have one here and I'd be mad not to. There's Jonte. Have a listen to it. Oh, it sounds nice, doesn't it? She's crisp. Solar. Hey, you are shining and shining. I've never seen you in such clean gear.
I agree, you've probably never seen it.
This is the best you're ever going to see, ladies and gents. Because you got a log close to a corner, sometimes you might need to...
I think that'll be, sometimes the key, I reckon. Depends the track layout, but
what are you going to do?
Fill it with fuel.
Does that count as one? And ride it.
So from March 1st, we're going to start a retail promotion where you get an accessory pack with each bike. We've got the 300 here today, which is kitted up with it, but it will be on all the models from 125 through to 500. Quick run through, Barkbuster handguard, the aluminium bar behind it. Just behind here you get a speedo protector as well. From the front, disc guard.
Oh yeah, nice, big solid disc guard.
Big solid, aluminium, raw finish, working our way around the bike. We haven't got the radiator braces fitted to this one, but it will include radiator braces as well. ASP 8mm bash guard with the linkage guard as well.
Yep.
Rear disc fin as well.
Another solid one. That's
and
good.
Then from the other side, just a counter shaft sprocket guard as well.
Oh,
nice
perfect.
feeling. I think our bikes, you get a lot for the money, and rather than, you don't need to spend more money on it. You get it, just ride it basically. That's how it should be.
Not bad, not bad. I like it. This thing's pretty good. You're gonna trust me with your steed?
No, it's not that I don't trust it. Poor Derek spent millions of hours putting it together.
So what do we got changes wise? You got triple clamps? Levers are a little bit different. Oh, you've got a bit of a higher bend bar. Is that right?
Yeah, it's very close to a stock.
Is it? Yep.
The reason I went to these levers, I prefer the feel of the stock ones. So it's purely going away from wraparounds.
Yep.
I kept crashing and
Breaking them.
and bending over.
Yep.
This just eliminates a lot of that. The S3 pegs are they're a lot wider, and your foot stays on them a lot more. But they're actually, instead of being wider from centre both sides, they're actually wider to the back.
Oh yeah.
So you've got more weight over the rear.
Okay. Yeah. Better for hard enduro, obviously. Still. Yep.
Yeah. So what we'll normally do is we'll get a new Mousse and we'll use that for training until they get soft enough to race on.
Okay.
Because if you start drilling them, you ruin the life of them.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll train on them until they're like a perfect race Mousse.
Yep.
And then we set them aside
For the day. Yeah. Okay.
It's got the acro as well. Not totally convinced it makes a massive difference.
Yep.
No, Johnny ran one last year. Seemed to think it made it a little bit more smooth apparently.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right. mods. Bars are fairly rolled back. Those big pegs are fucking hell. They're like stage platforms to stand on. This is what I ride, so this is the same for me. Bars are a bit too far back for me, the way Solar rides it. You're right though, it's very wallowy, very soft. Still gets up in boogies. I'd rather play on it than I would try and ride it fast around a circuit. Like, you've seen the places Solar takes these things. Down the creek section. Now I got to take it really easy because you'd all hate me if I crashed Solar's hard enduro bike. You'd be right off me. We don't want that. Not a lot of mods, but you do notice the suspension's probably the biggest thing straight off the bat that you pick up on, and the wide pegs. Those wide pegs are they're something else. You really, like he says, it puts the weight further to the back of the bike, you know, so I like that addition, that's for sure. Anyway, better get it back before they have kittens. The boys look nervous. I don't know why they look nervous. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's plush.
Very plush.
So yeah, it doesn't.
You want to be able to just sit on the seat and use minimal energy, so it's just absorbing all
everything.
The rocks, the roots.
Yep.
It's not bucking sideways. It's just staying in a straight line.
Yep.
The wheel's always on the ground.
Yep. On the 250, I must say it is a little bit. It is a little bit splurtier on the power. This thing's grouse. I don't know what it is. It's pokey. It's pokey, it's fun. Does everything. The 300 does. It's just a little bit more. It's a bit pokier. I'm liking it. So we're with Timmy Coleman. Everyone knows the stunt legend. We're just checking out his race bike here. He's prepped for the Super Enduro.
Yeah, so this is my factory Sherco. Actually running a 250 because I kind of like the zappy power of the 250. So yeah, I don't do anything too crazy to the bike. It's pretty stock actually, the engine and everything. But for this Super Enduro Cross, we changed the settings in the KYB, so it's a lot firmer. Grip of seat, like that's something I kind of notice a lot, like especially in hard enduro, just being able to like sit forward on the bike or back and not slide around so much. And I changed the foot pegs because these are a little bit lower than a little bit lower than your standard foot pegs, so you can actually grip the bike a little bit. And you have these extra triple clamps, which they got these little little mounts inside it just to take a little bit of the vibration out of it.
Oh, okay. What about motor mods? Do you do any motor mods with yours?
With this one, no. I just run a good clutch cover. Usually a different cylinder head.
Yeah, I had to change one on mine for some strange reason too.
I wonder why. I run usually an S3 head
And what do you reckon the S3 head does to the performance on the bike?
I reckon it gives it more bottom end torque. Yeah, I've got a flywheel weight as well you can put on it, but
It hasn't got it on there at the moment.
got it on there.
And what does that do, the flywheel weight?
I think it just like it sort of I think you get more inertia in the engine.
Yep.
So you
So
can
when
roll
what-
up things a bit easier,
Okay,
and
yeah.
you can be in first gear and just be like on the throttle
Just. Yep.
without it like trying to flame out at all.
Wonder if I'd have asked you the day we were pulling mine out of the creek if you'd let me ride yours, huh? It's a fair bit firmer than the standard one, like a fair bit firmer. And his clutch engagement point is a lot further out than mine. Super Enduro setup's pretty good. Bit stiffer. That's pretty cool. Super Enduro Slayer. What do they say? Two motorcycles travelling in the same direction, Cam? Let's do it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Much nicer for the tighter stuff, no doubt about that. Much comp here on that. Steers well. Yeah, I like this thing. I could really get into this. Oh, this would be a single track weapon. You can really feel your confidence build with it pretty quickly. Pick your lines a lot better. Not so much of a handful to bike.
Just talking about some of the modifications that you make to it and how your bikes differ from some of the other boys. We're just talking about rear tyre size, and noticed you're running a 110 100 on the back.
Yeah, so we've been running the Pirelli mid-softs. I found on the 300 4-stroke that the 110 works a little bit better. Just seems to be the 120 just took a little bit of power away. So.
And what other mods do you make on yours, mate? I see you got some steg pegs on there.
Yeah, so that's one thing not a lot of off-road guys sort of use. It's more used for the desert, but I like to stand a lot, so I can rely on, I can push into
Lean
them.
back a bit,
I can help, just lean back into them, and if the bike, I feel like you got more rear end control. So we run strike seats with a higher seat foam too, just a little bit more height.
Oh, yep.
Than the stock one, and a nice gripper on here. Just one thing I always like doing. I like running the tight peg, bigger pegs. Keep the feet on there. And I'm using the rental fat bar, which is pretty much like the lowest sort of bend I think you can get. I like to have pretty low controls. The Sherco X-Trig factory clamps there as well, and in the bar position you got, I think there's 9 different combinations that you can sort of do. So, yeah, and other than that, engine's full stock, so yeah, don't touch it at all. So
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
yeah, thank you.
Alright. What is the difference? This is Jonte's rig. Seat is extremely different. Suspension is like riding a cloud. Oh. That front end is unbelievable. You could ride this thing all day, very comfortable. That gripper seat, shit, you ain't going nowhere. Once you're in that gripper seat, bike does not move from under you. Find it hard to knock it, but then I love riding a nice little strong 4-stroke engine. I'm a KTM 350 fan, so you know this thing is probably a little bit more nimble, if anything, than the 350. But man, it's got some poke. Yeah! Get yourself in the box seat for one of these. So he's got a high seat. I actually quite like that for the motocrossy stuff.
I asked a couple of guys earlier what their 2 modifications that they would make to the bikes are. One of them actually really caught my attention.
If you could only do 2 modifications to your bike, what are you going to do? Just 2, that's it.
Suspension and seat.
Seat?
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't have picked that one.
Yeah.
What?
For me, I like to run a taller seat with a gripper cover on it. And
You're going to go seat as well.
I find the seats is an important thing.
So what else? What's the other thing then? If you go on seat is one, what's the second one? What else are you going to do?
Well, seat suspension, like what we...
Firstly, they all went suspension, obviously, which makes them handle a lot better, and that's noticeable on the bike. But it was the seat that was the big kicker. Solar likes to have the lower cut seat with the gripper in it, so he can get his feet closer to the ground, and Perry likes to have the big high cut seat. So they ride them basically stock. Majority of the motors are very standard. They might put some like recluse plates in, maybe, you know, one of the higher or low comp head, depending on if they're motocross or hard enduro, but predominantly the bikes, other than the suspension, are relatively standard, and that goes to show how well they're getting made, because, you know, to be able to buy a bike straight out of the box and you know, these guys compete at a good level. That's, you know, you're getting value for money, and that's what it's about. But I've actually was most impressed with the 300 4-stroke. That's been the bike that I feel for the sort of riding I do, which is sort of technical single trail. You just feel comfortable on it. It's not too much of a handful, but it's got plenty of legs in the motor. I've already got a 300 2-stroke and I love it for the hard enduro, but I reckon with a bit of practice you could put one of those 300s through its paces in the hard stuff as well. So far that's been my favourite.
Holy dolly! Hang on to your fanny pack when you give that thing a roll. Oh boy. She barks alright. So map switches on these. 2 maps, simple as that. In towards the hand grip is angry map, as I'd call it. And towards the left is meant to be a bit more docile now. That's a crazy bit of kit, isn't it? Even Camo, who is used to wrestling ridiculously crazy horsepowered road bikes, is saying that thing's got a bit on. So, you know, it just goes to show that 500, if you're a serious go-getter that loves a bit of extra horsepower under the belt, that thing's unbelievable.